It's time for another episode of Left Hand Poetry. I'm your host and poet, Rob Murray. It's fall here on the East Coast, when and where I'm recording this week's episode, and the leaves are doing that thing they do every year about this time. They're changing color and falling to the ground, and generally making a show of the fall season before we tuck in to the long East Coast winter. But it made me think back to a time when I wrote a poem about fall when I wasn't on the East Coast. So this week I have for you Palm Trees in the Fall, Just Don't Cut It. Palm trees in the fall, just don't cut it. I traveled to Los Angeles with my love to spend more than the handful of hours I had previously spent under the California sun. I took in the beaches and the food and a particularly friendly sea lion. While there, I specifically noticed the trees of deciduous inclination interspersed amongst the ubiquitous palm trees. Those trees, such as they are, lose their leaves just as their sisters do, all across nature. But in Los Angeles, there was no glorious eruption of color so familiar to my East Coast eyes. The leaves instead turned an embarrassed shade of brown and lay on the ground desultorily. At the time, I thought it was indicative of some general lack of character found in the flora of a city so consumed with appearance. But upon further reflection, I realize that it is most likely due to the drought conditions therein. So I mourn for the deciduous trees of all Southern California, robbed of their panchromatic birthright, robbed by the very species who planted them in these parks for their own enjoyment. Again, that was Palm Trees in the Fall, Just Don't Cut It, from my book, Regret and Opportunity. If you liked this poem, you can buy entire books of my poetry. Just visit my website, robertcmurray.com, and scroll down a bit past the stuff about my sci-fi novel series. I'm also on Twitter. I'm at lefthandrob, and I'd love to hear from you. And also, if Facebook is more your thing, I'm there as well. I'm Robert C. Murray Poet. While I'm at it, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a rating and review. Those go far to help even more people discover the podcast. Finally, please remember that all Black Lives Matter. You can check my blog, lefthandrob.net, for more information on how you can help support the cause. That's it for now. So until next time, this has been Left Hand Poetry.